Deo's teammate from the 2001 National Championship team and the current head coach, Niele Ivey. In her 4th season, she is 3-1 as a head coach against Miami.
Doing such a great job in that head coaching spot. Love to see my old teammate out there making things happen at her alma mater.
So the opening tip goes out of bounds, and it will be Miami basketball. They're in the traveling black, Notre Dame in the home white. Miami is looking for its first win here in Notre Dame, Indiana since 2003. I was trying to make history today, Kelly.
Yeah, and I was curious to see how Notre Dame would come out defensively, and they start in a zone. And this is a Miami team with a quick foul early for Notre Dame, but a team that actually has been shooting the three-point ball better than they have in recent years. And so with the zone, obviously you elect to make that a more open shot for Miami. We'll see if they can take advantage. Yeah,
Miami is 4th in the conference in three-point shooting, 35%, despite that miss from Day Wilson to get us started. Watson in a congested area, looking for a second effort. Sends it back out. DeWolf, number 13 in white, honored prior to the game at Pitt. She went over 2,000 career points. That one knocked away from Westbeld and taken by Miami.
And immediately you see what that Miami defense is trying to do. Clog the paint up inside. That was a good high-low look, just too many hands on it.
Miami is 11-4 this season, 1-3 in conference play, coming off a loss on Thursday at number 11 Virginia Tech, and another miss for the Canes. Here's Hidalgo. Citron. Three-point attempt. Roberts.
Great box out for Miami. Everyone with a body on a Notre Dame player.
Trying to go inside Oldacre. Tough shot. She was double teamed and missed.
Great diagonal look to see Oldacre on that far block.
Westbeld. Quick pass inside. That's a tough shot. And Watson unable to convert.
And you see early the attention that the Notre Dame bigs are getting inside. And I like that Niele Ivey is continuing to go inside the paint, because once you get past that first line of defense, I think that there could be an advantage if those post players can get that high-low pass going better than it has earlier.
Day Wilson missed the 3 attempt, but a foul coming up against Notre Dame and Kylie Watson. So here's the snapshot for Katie Meyer's team. They struggled from three-point distance in the loss of Virginia Tech, just 3 of 18. Second best, though, in the conference in limiting the offense from the opposition. And they spread the leading scoring around so far this season. Oldacre.
And they're playing against Notre Dame, who leads the conference in points per game. And there's a 3 that falls. Good-looking shot by Jalea Williams. And we mentioned earlier, Day Wilson, an excellent shooter. There are quite a few people that can put up the long ball with consistency.
So we finally see a made basket. The teams have combined to miss their first 8 shots. And now the struggles continue for the Irish in Westbeld. Miami wants to run, trying to beat everybody to the glass, and the layup from Williams.
Well, that's why the rebounding is so important for Miami, because they want to get out in the break. Really good pass out of transition.
Hidalgo puts it up. She's off the mark. Miami again in transition with Williams. Patrick. Hidalgo waiting for reinforcements. Marshall, there it is.
And that's been open on a few occasions as Notre Dame comes down in transition. That trailing post or guard has gotten a shot.
So Marshall gets the Irish on the board here in the first quarter. And they drop it low and a traveling violation against Miami. So the Irish come in 11-3 for Coach Ivey, 2-2 in conference play. In fact, that represents their last 4 games. Kelly, you mentioned the offense, 86 points per game for Coach Ivey.
And you see that Maddie Westbeld, 100th career start. It's incredible. She's started every game she's played in. And you go back to those losses that they suffered, one against just recently, they lost to UNC. That was without Maddie Westbelt. She was out in concussion protocol, and then you see what she does when she gets back on the floor.
Marshall again with a steal. Hidalgo scoop to the rim, and she lays it in. And the Irish take the 6-5 lead.
Cold start for Notre Dame, but a quick 4 points in the last few seconds.
Coming off the win Thursday on their home floor for the Irish against Boston College, 98-48. They shot 57% as a team in that game. Dominated the boards as well, 55-30 against the Eagles. They produce a turnover, and Hidalgo. Westbeld. It was a catch in tight quarters, and they'll turn it back over to Miami.
I love the collapsing defense on the baseline. Back when Miami had it on offense, Notre Dame all over the posts early. And, you know, I don't hate a zone. I know a lot of basketball purists love the man-to-man, but I'll tell you what, we won a national championship in a 2-3 zone, and I am all for it if it's active the way that Notre Dame has been playing it.
That pass goes out of bounds, and it will go back to the Irish. It's a fourth turnover in the first quarter for Miami. Westbeld the turnaround. Big rebound inside for Miami, and Lattimore right back the other way off the glass and good. Dwyer on the move.
Well, that's what Dwyer does so well. It's like she's dribbling around cones. You do that in those early young days when you're trying to get your ball handling going, and she's just dribbling around players as if nobody's going to touch her. Gets all the way to the rim.
Westbeld has it, working on the block. Had it knocked away for a moment, second chance. Ball on the baseline, out of bounds. And it will stay with the Irish. So we'll take a timeout with Miami up 1. Katie Myers family in the house and watching Katie lead the Hurricanes against the Irish. More on that in a minute.
This week on CW Courtside Saturday, Virginia Tech.
Family members behind the bench, but of course the weather deterred that. I got to talk to brother Terry, who's back there in the orange, and he was just giving me some great stories about their early travel days. And of course, Mom Phyllis and stepdad Howard, who is 94. They don't miss a game. I know you're watching, and I hope you don't mind me telling some old stories of you, but Terry was telling us, you know, the only kind of car that would fit a family of 10, only one manufacturer made it. It was a Dodge Maxi van. And he said, you should have watched us pulling up to church, 10 people coming out of that car and all piling into a place. And we just had the best memories early on of being able to travel. And actually, Katie's wife, Hunter, told me about a time they used to have a different kind of car, and Katie, a station wagon. Katie would lay on the back of the seat, or on the back of the floor. That was her spot. And her siblings would sit in that back row and put their feet on her. I mean, I guess that is what you have to do.
When you're the youngest.
When you're the youngest and among 7 other siblings. But just so many great stories, and they are just so proud of their little sister.
Hall of Fame playing career at Duke, was the head coach at Charlotte before going to Coral Gables. Been there ever since. 19th season, and all the way to the regional final last year. In fact, Virginia Tech went to the Final Four. Louisville was in a regional final. And Miami also in a regional final. What a season last year for the ACC, with 8 teams in the tournament and currently 6 teams ranked. Miami with the basketball inside of 4 minutes to go in our first quarter. Hilton on the drive. It's a difficult shot, deflected away by Westbeld, and she grabbed it. Citron on the bounce. Trying to switch hands. And taken right back by Miami on the run. Dwyer sends it inside. Big collision. 2 players hit the deck. Out of bounds.
Notre Dame doing a really good job recently of picking up in that transition defense, finding shooters. They're not all collapsing into the paint. There are guards who have gotten out to that three-point line, and Miami's not able to get much off the transition game.
Miami 3 of 9 shooting. That'll help the percentages inside. Hilton, close range.
It's as easy as you could draw it up right there. Great out-of-bounds play and execution.
Lamaya Hilton, the sophomore from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and a transfer from Arizona, averaging just over 7 points per game. Westbeld. Notre Dame has missed its last 7 shot attempts. DeWolf. Offensive glass. Bransford.
That's the 6th offensive rebound for Notre Dame. Miami has got to do a better job of putting a body on a Notre Dame player.
Bransford 13.6 boards, 25 minutes off the bench in the win against Boston College for the sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio. Hidalgo tried to strip it away from Dwyer. 3-second violation against Miami. So Dave Wilson comes back into the lineup.
Dave Wilson has been such a great addition to this Miami team. Obviously a team that lost a lot to that Elite Eight team that was so good last season. Dave Wilson, a transfer from Duke, and she is one of those that's helped with that three-point percentage because she's come in and really taken on a lot of the scoring responsibility.
Hidalgo launching the three-pointer. And a big reaction after making that 3 from number 3 for the Irish. Nobody takes more, nobody makes more. 3-pointers on this Notre Dame roster than the freshman Hidalgo. Hilton bounces off to Bransford, lost the handle. Knocked around, Day Wilson. Free throw line.
And that's been one of the only open looks that Miami's been able to have. The 2-3 zone has been looking really good as Notre Dame has packed it in.
Day Wilson was the leading scorer with 19 points on the road at Virginia Tech in the losing effort. Made a couple of threes. Bransford, eyes for the rim. Spearman was the closest Hurricane.
KK Bransford has really been increasing her confidence, and you can see it on the floor. There were some games early on in the season where she just looked more tentative, would try to be a passer instead of a scorer, and that's not how she played last year. She was a big part of what Notre Dame did last season and their success. So great to see her with more of that offensive attack mode.
Bransford at the free throw line, 78% of the season. Now 8 of the 13 points for the Irish from the bench production. Oldacre trying to muscle her way up. Double team. Bransford came in. Able to bounce that one in. Kind bounce here at Purcell Pavilion for Oldacre.
I don't know how Oldacre got that shot up. Notre Dame defense did a great job of collapsing to make it hard for her, but really strong posts inside.
She is the 6'6" sophomore from Barcelona, Spain. Westbeld, the miss. Miami, potential 2-on-1. Hidalgo get back in the play and stripped it away.
Their eyes are always up. Every time Miami gets a rebound, their eyes are up toward their end of the floor, trying to get transition. Good drive. Dwyer misses that one.
35 seconds to go in the first quarter. DeWolf, pull up, mid-range.
Anna DeWolf continues to add over 2,000 points now in her career.
Graduate student from Cumberland, Maine, 4 years at Fordham, playing in her 126th collegiate game this afternoon. Just 10 seconds now for Miami, looking for that final shot of the quarter and trailing by 2. Dwyer over Westbeld. Bounces out. Oldacre got tangled up there with Watson. They're going to get Oldacre for the foul, her second.
Yeah, and that's important because 6'6", you don't have a sub that comes in with her height or her size inside. Lattimore, a really good substitution. She's been playing well lately, but 2 fouls early is not easy.
Westbelt heaves it three-quarter court. So despite shooting just 29% of that first this year.
Hidalgo got the Notre Dame record. Quite a few freshmen had come through getting 6. And now she is alone at 7, and is a miss for Notre Dame. But yeah, she is hunting that 10, and I don't know. I think she'd get it. I've got a feeling.
See how the season develops. We are on the road to Greensboro, North Carolina, home of the ACC Women's Tournament in March. That's Watson, difficult shot.
Notre Dame posts have had the looks, but they have not been able to fall with consistency inside.
Day Wilson. Now Hilton teeing up a 3. Both sides of the rim. Lattimore fed it inside. Good work by Lattimore. Roberts benefits.
Yeah, the double on Lattimore leaves the cutter wide open. She finds the pass. Really good finish.
Hidalgo, some kind of twisting shot in the paint.
Splits the defense. Also, there was some contact. It looked like still able to put it down.
She's had some very animated reactions to her baskets.
That's what makes her so fun to cheer for. You know, and you never see her have this bad attitude. She is always positive, always an energy player.
Hilton sneaking in. Almost had it. Citron knocked it away, and now up ahead to Wolf. Trying to cross it over against Day Wilson. Safety valve is Citron. That's a 3.
So where Notre Dame has gotten better in their transition defense, picking up the three-point line, Miami has not been able to do that. They have left players wide open along that three-point line or just inside off a transition.
So Citron with her first 3 of the game. She's now made 10 on the season, and Notre Dame is 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. Ball out of bounds, and Notre Dame ball.
Watch the cross. Look at this. Splits the defense, gets to the middle with some contact, and the finish and the reaction. You gotta love it. And how about the kick out? That's the best play right there in transition. Everyone's crowded into the paint. Turn and find your shooter. Sonia Citron puts it in.
Hidalgo this season, her first game of the year was against #1 South Carolina. All she did was score 31 points to set a freshman debut school record. And then December 21st against Western Michigan, she had a triple-double. 26 points, 11 boards, 10 assists. Marshall kept it alive.
And Neil Ivey just keeps getting these freshmen who have come in and made such an impact on Notre Dame early.
Bransford, basket and foul.
Well, that's the shot, because you'd seen Notre Dame a few different times look for that high-low. So there were so many defenders inside the paint. Look at inside, you've got players 2 underneath. Nobody takes Bransford, and she knocks it down. It's important to hit those shots early so that you become an offensive threat.
Bransford averaging close to 9 points per game this season. That's an old school 3-point play from KK Bransford, and it's an 8-0 Notre Dame run to take the 8-point lead. Back the other way. The Wolf goes to the court to save it. Hidalgo scoops it up. Hidalgo from the free throw line, leaning into the jumper. Timeout, Miami.
You love the reaction from the freshmen, getting inside the paint with the attitude afterward. What a freshman.
Games, Kelly Deo.
I mean, this is incredible. Only player to accomplish this in the last 25 years at any level. Those numbers are astounding. You know, there was a stat just brought to my attention. The only player, 2 players in a major conference that averaged over 20 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. You've heard of them, Caitlin Clark and Hannah Hidalgo. Pretty good company.
Yeah, Clark's team with the win against Indiana yesterday, and now Hidalgo and her teammates trying to defend the home court, where this season they are 6-1 at home.
I just got like a flash forward. Can you imagine those 2 on an Olympic team together? The kind of offensive prowess, and oh, so much fun to watch.
about an NCAA tournament, maybe a Final Four or something.
They'd be against each other then. I was putting them together on the same team. But yes, I can see that as well.
Last year, Notre Dame to the Sweet 16. Lost in the semifinals of the ACC tournament against Louisville.
Doing all of that without Olivia Miles, who was hurt late in the season. And you have to wonder too, what would this season look like with Olivia Miles healthy? How different would Hannah Hidalgo be looking if if all the responsibility of that point guard position was not on her?
Hidalgo to Citron. Westbeld trying to get that shot away, comes up short on the attempt. Westbeld has not scored.
Posts have been so close inside, just cannot put it down. Miami has to do a much better job of taking care of the basketball. They have 10 turnovers already in this game. Good high-low look, but that has turned into 15 points off those turnovers. That's essentially how Notre Dame has gotten this lead.
Hilton is up to 4 points now. 34% shooting in the game so far for the Irish. It's well below their season average of 48%, which is the best in the conference. Ransford, couple of power dribbles and to the rim.
I love it. I love it. As I said, when you're struggling with confidence, and I have been there, it is so hard. You just want to have one of these games. And there's the defense. The nation's leader in steals picks up another one, and the foul.
So Hidalgo going to the free throw line. Second foul on Day Wilson.
Second foul picked up by
This is the third steal already in this game for Hannah Hidalgo. Look at jumping passing lanes, anticipates, draws contact. What doesn't she do?
Game high 27 points in the win on Thursday against Boston College.
It would be hard to find another player that's so vital for their team completely, right? There's so many players that score well, and many, we could name them, but what she does defensively is just so special.
So a traveling violation against Westbeld. The struggles continue. 0 of 8 from the floor for Maddie Westbeld.
Prior to that, Notre Dame had picked up yet another offensive board. Katie Meyer has got to be frustrated with her team and their lack of just finding a body and checking them out.
All the way to the regional final a season ago, 22-13. It was also the first Sweet 16 for Katie Meyer in her head coaching career. Day Wilson will rock the three ball.
That's what Miami needs. Some more offense, some more production. That could start some momentum shift.
Hidalgo driving down the lane. Day Wilson hurries it up around Citron. What a move.
5 quick points for Day Wilson. I think she's taken what her coach has said to heart and really been that offensive factor.
Spent 2 years at Duke, averages close to 10 points per game. Cheyenne Day Wilson, number 30 in black. Straight away, Citron. It's a 3.
Citron doesn't need a lot of time or space and just knocks that one down. You got to be all over Day Wilson with the way she's been scoring.
Hilton spinning, grazed the front rim. Ahead Westbeld on the catch, turned right into the double team. Spearman was there defensively. Up ahead, Roberts runs the floor, knocked away Hidalgo at the very last second.
The quick hands and her ability to get back on defense. Doesn't take a play off. That's what makes her so special. She doesn't come back on defense and relax. That's actually what she wants to do. Even though she's so good offensively, I think she's more defensive minded.
foul called against Miami on that play. Roberts. First against Roberts. Ball back to the Irish. 12 turnovers in the first half now for Miami.
I think that Miami needs to do a better job of pressuring in their full court press. They put it on, but Notre Dame has not had a problem with it at all. And that's not the Miami team that we're used to seeing. Yeah, that's what we're used to seeing. Poking the ball out, getting in passing lanes, overplaying.
Hidalgo, difficult shot. Up for the rebound, Patrick. Hidalgo hustles back, knocks it away to DeWolf. DeWolf between the legs, there's the shot. Pretty move.
I think Notre Dame is at a different level than they were earlier this season. Players are coming in and they know their roles and they're filling them. They're not trying to go outside of themselves. And that is what makes a very good team. And Niele Ivey has to be pleased with the way her team has come out today.
18 points off of Miami turnovers. And that's another offensive foul against a driving Dwyer.
And so another Miami turnover. 15 now for them. Here's the man-to-man defense, which is so important when you play Miami. You have got to contain penetration. Anna DeWolf does a really good job of getting into position and taking contact.
Irish number 18 in the country. 2-2 in their last 4 games, all ACC games prior to this afternoon. A little reach in from Dwyer there. And that's her second. It result in free throws for the Irish.
Niele Ivey has had to suffer through a lot of injuries. You know, you look down at that bench and there are a lot of people that could be big-time additions on that bench, but you know, she's had to be able have to play without them. But I think she has to be pleased with who's on the floor. Maddie Westfeld being back and healthy, and you know, other players stepping in.
Coming up on the Intuit TurboTax halftime report. News and notes around the conference, highlights and stats. And oh, a trip down memory lane. Get the tissues ready. Here in Notre Dame, Indiana, and Purcell Pavilion at the Joyce Center.
I got it.
Niele Ivey, Kelly Deo, teammates on the 01 National Championship team.
Feels like yesterday.
The win in St. Louis and the celebration was on. Day Wilson off the mark. Kept alive by the Canes. Important possession deep into the shot clock. Patrick with the miss.
Well, that's what the zone has done. It's forced Miami into an outside shooting team. Yes, they've done better, but they don't want to rely on their three-point shooting. And the zone was a great call by Niele Ivey because they packed it in the paint. When you watch Miami play normally, they are taking people off the dribble and getting inside to get easy looks at the basket. Not today.
Miami now just 2 of 11 on three-point shots. They are not a bad three-point shooting team. 3rd in the conference. Bransford had it blocked as Lattimore came over. Natasha Lattimore, junior from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and a transfer from Texas. She was part of the Big 12 championship team. Westbeld driving, and it'll spin on in. And she's into the box score and headed to the free throw line.
And finally, one of those shots goes in for the post. It almost went out, though. Look at this. Goes in hard with the contact. Looks like it was going to take a roll out. You saw a shot chart of Notre Dame's post players right now inside the paint. You'd see a lot of unmade shots. A lot of these shots have been made from the guards outside or when they get in, but finally, post players with some production. You know, Tom, I love it.
Her 7th double-double in her effort against Boston College on Thursday with 15 points, 15 boards, and 5 of 9 shooting. Connected on a couple of threes as well. She's got her first points of the afternoon. 37-22 Irish late in our second quarter. Second chance. Good hustle by Spearman and Lattimore on the offensive glass. Free throws upcoming for Spearman.
Miami just looks uncomfortable. They look out of sync. They're not getting what they want. And you even saw Spearman at the top of the free throw line hesitating to take a shot, and then drives to the bucket and kind of takes an off-balance shot. So again, really a lot of credit to this Notre Dame defense and how they've been able to stop inside penetration.
First free throw of the game right here for Miami. With Spearman at the line. Falls in for the 41% free throw shooter, and that also snaps a 9-0 run by the Irish. Rosaria Spearman, the sophomore. A couple of double-doubles this season, 1 of 2 from the line. And good hustle from Patrick. Just didn't get the result after that hustle play. Back to the Irish. Westbeld wearing the mask for precautionary reasons. As Kelly mentioned, the loss against North Carolina a week ago on this floor. She did not play in that game, suffering from a concussion, but back into the lineup. Last couple of games, and we showed you the double-double against BC for Westbeld.
Well, and that's a good indication of what she does to this team, and not only just what she did personally, but as she, right on cue, hits another one, but what her place on the floor does. But that was Notre Dame was just under the century mark in that game. The point production was easy to come by, and when you have a team that you've got parts that are doing what they're supposed to, that's what it generates.
Yeah, they built a 20-point halftime lead against BC and never looked back to get their 6th home win of the season. Final minute of play, late in the shot clock. Spearman, Lattimore now the turnaround. Westbeld has it. Westbeld, the leading rebounder for this team, and 3rd in the conference, just under 10 per game. Hidalgo and Bransford are getting to double digits. Hidalgo's shot was erased by Lattimore and out of bounds. Well, the biggest stars gather at the 29th Annual Critics' Choice Awards, hosted by Chelsea Handler. It's live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the CW. Critics' Choice Awards coming up. Awards being racked up this season by Hannah Hidalgo at the free throw line. Lattimore picked up the foul for Miami to put Hidalgo at the free throw line. We don't have enough time in this broadcast to talk about what she has done in her freshman season.
And I think what I like so much about her is she's such a likable kid. Off the floor, she is nothing like what you see on the, I mean, that doesn't make her unlikable, but she's quiet. She's a little subdued. She's got a deep faith, loves her family, loves her friends. And then you see this, just what she does on the floor and how everything just opens up, and she will be the recipient of a hard screen, and Patrick ends up with the foul.
That's the first on Patrick. And we asked Coach Ivey about all the accolades that she's received. You can understand overconfidence, and Coach Ivey said not even close, very level-headed, as Kelly mentioned. Quiet confidence from the freshman.
She and Niall have lots of conversations and watch a lot of film together, and it's a special bond she has with her coach.
Again, 20 points or more 12 times this season, well on her way with 11 to lead all scorers in the first half, and here are the final seconds. That's a carry against Hidalgo. She may disagree with that. Just the 5th turnover of the first half for the Irish.
But even that, right? You'd see a lot of players get mad, right? Or put their head down or whatever. That's not what she does. She's always up. She's always, for the sake of the team, everyone can look at her and say, how should we act? How should we react? That's what you want from your point guard. She is an extension of her coach on the floor.
Final seconds for the Canes, and Day Wilson on the hop into Bransford. Marshall came over to knock it away. Spearman at the horn. And it bounces out, and a foul was called.
Wow.
Right at the end of the quarter.
I was about to say, wow, Nat Marshall did such a good job of disrupting what Miami was trying to do, coming in for the double, tipping it away, but Spearman, great job to stay with it. We're gonna get a look at it here. Look at the double down low. Marshall almost gets her hands on it. Spearman picks it up. 2 defenders on her, and the foul is called. They're gonna check to see if that was before. Yeah, it looks like it was.
Might be a little bit of time left on the clock. Miami's trying to respond after a 76-52 loss at Virginia Tech on Thursday. Virginia Tech, the defending champs of the ACC tournament, after 3 in a row from Westmore and NC State. This Notre Dame program, when it came into the league, won 4 straight ACC tournaments under the legend and Hall of Famer Muffet McGraw, whose statue was dedicated this season outside of Purcell Pavilion in the Joyce Center.
Such a great thing. First female statue on campus, and what she has meant. She is Notre Dame women's basketball. She put Notre Dame on the map, and Yale Ivy just trying to take over and walk in those shoes.
2 national championships and 936 wins. The Yale Ivy's team in her 4th season will struggle this season. Kelly, with the halftime lead, they are 10-0 on the year. And a steal to Wolf. Trying to win the race to the basket. Good hustle back.
Yeah, not what Katie Meyer wanted to see, coming right out of that halftime speech, where likely a lot of it was about taking care of the ball. And immediately, not Hannah Hidalgo this time, but Anna DeWolf gets her hand on it, bringing it all the way down, but a good block. Just stepped on the baseline. By the way, Miami just recently set an ACC record, 13 blocks in the game against Wake. Oldacre had 6 of those.
Might need that on the defensive end against the Irish in the second half to make up the 16-point deficit. Williams going Euro step.
Had an awkward landing, it looked like, but still able to get that shot in. And that's more of what Miami wants. Transition game, off of a make, off of a miss. They want to run the floor, and they've got to do that more in the second half.
Williams, the veteran player, her 84th game in the Miami uniform, and now a steal from Patrick. Trying to go up against Westbeld, uncontested for Patrick.
Yeah, so where you don't like that quick turnover for Miami, this is Miami basketball. Turn you over and turn that into points. They're pressuring a lot more than we saw them in the first and second quarters.
First 4 points of the second half belong to Miami. Remember, they led 5-0 to start the game before the Irish came back to take the lead. Watson against 2 defenders, just barreling down the lane, and an offensive foul against Watson.
Oldacre, is in that hard position where she's standing with 2 fouls, so she has to be careful, but Patrick in great position to take that charge. I thought that she had the free throw jumper, Kylie Watson. I thought she should have taken that.
Picked up her second foul in the process. Another chance for the Canes. Oldacre dribbles into the paint. Day Wilson. Roberts and a travel. Possession really never developed for Miami in a positive fashion.
That 2-3 zone can often look like a man-to-man because of how well Notre Dame is picking up players in their area. They've got their hands up. It is not a timid zone by any means.
Irish with 3 of 7 on 3-pointers in the first half. Citron on the handle now, had 2 of them, and now Patrick takes it away. That's an easy layup. Timeout, Notre Dame.
2 quick turnovers for Patrick in the same scenario. Wow.
First 6 points.
Westbell, then she does it with Sonia Citron, the guard. Just taps it, controls it, and finishes.
Jaida Patrick just about right on her season average with 7 points in the game now. Did not score in that game against Virginia Tech on Thursday and missed all 8 of her shots. So good news for Patrick and the Canes. Westbeld against the double. Turnaround is offline. Oldacre gathers. Hidalgo creating havoc. Wrestled it away. And the arrow favors Notre Dame.
She's always thinking. Look at this. Look, turns as if she's going to run down, and then just a quick change. Comes back, gets her hand on the ball, forces the tie-up. Notre Dame possession. That's why you got to love her. She doesn't just have the offensive flair.
This could be some offensive flair. Ripping the ropes for the Irish, Hannah Hidalgo.
If that won't get people in the seats, I don't know what will. This is worth the cost of admission to see this girl play.
And then the block from Watson, it went out of bounds. Drive by Patrick. Watson has not scored in the game. Irish by 13, Miami in possession. Shot clock to 5. Williams just got it away and beats the clock.
Yeah, well defended, but really good runner by Williams to finish. And there's the pressure. Miami trying to get another turnover, and they do.
Westbeld travels.
So 4 quick turnovers in this quarter already for Notre Dame.
And they only had 5, Kelly, in the entire first half for the Irish.
Sometimes you just need that halftime talk, right? Katie Meyer's done enough of those through her career. She knows what to say to these players and how they'll respond. And you got to be pleased with this Miami team second half.
19 seasons on that Miami bench for Katie Myers, and Day Wilson elevates and hits Citron. Able to gather, and then Day Wilson, surprised at that whistle from Meadow Overstreet. Was right on top of the call, and the 3rd foul on Day Wilson.
Yeah, that's going to be significant. Remember, she really has become an offensive threat for Miami. 9 points, leads her team in scoring right now. She's going to have to be careful.
Hidalgo shedding the defender. Keep it at this end of the floor. So Day Wilson has to come out with those 3 personal fouls. He's got 9 points in the game and is the leading scorer right now for Miami. But on the bench for Katie Meyer. Hidalgo tries the 3 again. Catches a little bit of rim. Kept alive Bransford. Reloads Citron. Good catch by Williams on a tough pass. Inside of 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Notre Dame led by 16 at halftime. Shot clock down to 7. Traveling Oldacre. That's turnover number 19 against Miami.
And that's just a personnel situation. You don't want the ball in Oldacre's hands that far outside the lane. She is a back to the basket, turn and score, the one who putting the ball on the floor.
Irish hosted the 1st and 2nd rounds of the NCAA tournament a season ago. That's the goal again this year. Hidalgo, Westbeld, Marshall.
And that's what I was looking for early in the game, is that high-low look or just the post play in general. Nat Marshall gets that one to fall. She has been excellent, and another steal for Hannah Hidalgo, and puts it in. Are you kidding me? 16 points, 6 steals, and 2 boards. We're not on triple-double watch yet, but she stays active on the glass. We could get close.
And the Irish as a team now 26 points off of Miami turnovers. Seems like just a moment ago Miami had cut the lead to 10. Now Citron. Patrick. Chance to run for Miami. Hidalgo is back. And contact on the defensive end by Hidalgo against Dwyer. So we'll take a timeout. Notre Dame has the lead over the visiting Miami Hurricanes on the CW.
So is such a special player.
Averages just over 24 points per game. Best in the ACC. 3rd in the nation for the freshman from Haddonfield, New Jersey.
She's a gamer. You know, there are some players that can be flashy and they can do some good things. but she is the type of player that is going to play even better when the lights are on her, right? In that NCAA tournament or ACC tournament. And, you know, who knows how far this team could go with a player like her and what is around her. And I don't want to disrespect anybody else on the floor. This is a team for Notre Dame. They have so many collective players that do so many good things.
This Irish program, 5 times a winner at the ACC Women's Tournament. Last coming in 2019. 27 overall trips to the NCAA tournament. And another one expected this season. Marshall on the cut, couldn't finish it off from Bransford. DeWolf went for the steal. Here's Dwyer. Along the baseline, lost and taken by Hidalgo. 3-on-2. He's looking for the individual effort. Dwyer got a piece of Hidalgo as she was speeding by. 3rd on Dwyer.
Another steal for Hidalgo. And number continues to climb. And I just want to go back to a moment ago. Matt Marshall, just what a cut. Just as that earlier possession, almost in off the glass for Westbell. But Matt Marshall has been such a great key to this team, coming off the bench, putting in great minutes. She plays good defense. She knows what she's supposed to do offensively, and she's locked in, really having a great season.
Inside of 3.5 minutes to go in the quarter, and another turnover as Westbeld has the interception. 22 turnovers by Miami. It's a whistle underneath. Official Talisa Green on top of the call. First on Williams. This is the only regular season meeting between the programs. Last played here in South Bend in February of 2022, and a 59-53 win for Notre Dame. Knocked away inside, it will stay with the Irish.
Yeah, that should have been Westbell's shot right there. Matt Marshall had a couple players defending her down in the post, and Westbell's such a great shooter from outside.
The game between the teams last season in Miami in December of 2022 was close. A 66-63 win on the road for the Irish as Bransford grabs it back. Marshall, elbow, rims out. Westbell, unselfish. Bransford had it knocked away at the last second. Fight for the loose ball. And the arrow favors Miami. So if you're the Canes right now, they get it on the possession arrow. The time is now, late in the 3rd quarter, down 47-35.
Yeah, it has to be. And I would go back to, we haven't seen it a lot in this game, but I think Miami has to do a better job of taking the ball off the dribble and getting inside. They've got to rotate the ball, get some openings against this zone, dribble penetration to those spots. Yeah, high post, short corner. That's the area you want to expose against the zone.
22 of Miami's points have come in the paint in this game. This is Day Wilson, slammed on the brakes, missed the jumper. Hidalgo. Hidalgo off the glass and good. Headed to the free throw line.
And what body control. Weaving through traffic, gets contact. The shake off the glass. She's like, of course.
And the flex.
That's right. She knew it was going in.
Foul was the 4th on Dwyer. So Dwyer has to go to the Miami bench. Hidalgo at the free throw line. 78% on the season from the stripe for the freshman.
And Hidalgo picks up full court. I'd be concerned if I'm Miami, nation's leader in steals.
Hidalgo just a point away from her 13th game this season with 20 points or more, and a timeout taken by Katie Meyer and Miami. Down by 15. The halftime lead was 60, 40-24 for Notre Dame. Miami scored the first 6 points of our second half. Tuesday on Inside the NFL, nobody breaks down games like our crew with highlights and analysis you won't find anywhere else. This week, the guys take a look back at Super Wild Card Weekend and get you ready for the divisional round. Inside the NFL Tuesday 8/7 Central only on the CW. Most of that action outside. Luckily today we are inside. When I was driving over to the arena, the temperature gauge on my car went from -2 to -3.
Wow.
And it's gotten a little bit colder since.
Well, I got into South Bend at like 1 a.m. and it was -5 at that point late last night. And I'll tell you what, I'm a Minnesota kid, but I forgot about this cold. This is why I live in Virginia.
And yet these fans of the Irish consistently turning out here at Purcell Pavilion to support their team. This is a place where Notre Dame wins 82% of its games on this floor in this facility, which opened back in 1968.
By the way, I have a great memory of 23 years ago tomorrow.
23 years ago?
I'm so young. January 15th, Martin Luther King Day on a Monday. Literally, it could not be more perfect. And it was the first sellout crowd in Notre Dame women's basketball history. We played unbeaten UConn. We'd never beat them in 11 tries. We were also unbeaten. And we came into this place and won by 15 or 16. I can't remember. Somebody can send me a text.
I think it was 16.
Okay, there it is. And it was the most incredible win outside of that national championship that I have ever experienced.
Well, the team you beat in the semifinals on the road to the national championship, UConn.
That's right. We lost one time during the regular season to them. We also lost to Rutgers, but once to UConn, and then ended up beating them by 50 in the semifinals. So
those are the Big East days.
Yeah.
And the record for that 01 national championship team, as Billy mentioned, 34-2. The national championship game in St. Louis against Purdue, 68-66 in the semifinals against UConn, 90-75. Kelly Deo in the national title game. I have the box score out of the newspaper. Right in front of me.
Right in front of you.
You remember what that is? 10 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists for Deo in the national championship performance.
Wow. Wow. Crazy. Those were good days and so fun to, there's something special about being the first to do something at your school. And we knew we had the pieces. We knew, what a great coaching staff. It was incredible to be coached by Muffet McGraw and just the knowledge. And we didn't even know how much she was teaching us, but we were so knowledgeable about the game and understood things at a high level. And we just had such a special connection. We were a team-led group. The coaches were wonderful, but we wanted it as much as they did. And so we were very team-led, team-focused, and got the result of a championship.
Also a national title here at Notre Dame in 2018. The championship game win against Mississippi State, the semifinal win against UConn at Columbus, Ohio. And what a run by Miami last year to get all the way to the regional finals.
I was so proud of Katie Meyer and this ball club. It's rare to be coaching as long as she has, and and she's still getting better. Like oftentimes people have great success early on in their coaching career. No, Katie Meyer keeps getting better. And by the way, when you go to an Elite Eight, you got some great players that want to come play for you. Number 9 recruiting class in the country for Miami coming in next season. How about that?
They lost in the regional final in Greenville, South Carolina to LSU, 54-42. How about the games leading up to that regional final? Wins against Oklahoma State, Indiana, and Villanova by a combined 8 points.
Wow.
Right down to the wire and all the way to the regional final. Best performance by the women's team at Miami in school history.
Destiny Harden went on to be drafted into the WNBA, number 27th pick by the Phoenix Mercury. Another one of Miami greats to go to the league.
Travel will give it back to Miami with 25 seconds to go in the quarter and trailing 53-35. 5 points for Westbeld in the game, just 2 of 13 shooting. Hasn't affected the outcome so far. Bransford and Hidalgo, double-digit scorers, and Hidalgo leads everyone with 19 points, 7 of 15 shooting, 5 rebounds as well. Hilton slightly offline with the 3. And the clock is going to run out here in this quarter. Citron, it would not have counted for Citron.
Her at full strength.
Well, the good news yesterday at practice, she was involved in some of the drills. Not 100% full speed. Citron off the glass.
Great body control by Citron to catch it, come down, even with the defense, and go up.
First 20-point lead of the game for the Irish, who built a 16-point halftime lead. That is Citron who hits the floor.
And going back to Notre Dame injuries, though, you know, there are a couple on that bench that are not able to play. Emma Risch, who is a phenomenal freshman, just a lights-out shooter, is out for the season, had surgery on her hip, and Hassan Prosper also out with a lower leg injury.
Citron. That was in rhythm. Demanded the pass and converted the three.
And that's a player who also came back from injury, had a sprained knee, and her back in the lineup has been all Notre Dame has needed. Came back in that UNC game.
It's just her 6th game of the season today for Citron. She's got 11 points. Double figures in all 6 games that she's played in so far this season, and 56 times in her career to get to double digits for the junior from East Chester, New York.
Well, if you know basketball at a fundamental level, you love Sonia Citron because you see how much she does. All the little things, angles, the way she can score, her defense. She is just a tremendous basketball talent with an incredibly high IQ.
Notre Dame lost that first game of the season to South Carolina 100-71, and then won 9 in a row. Losses at Syracuse and home against North Carolina in conference play.
What a way to start out the basketball season, by the way. Notre Dame and South Carolina in Paris, France. Wow.
Day Wilson on the drive. So that snaps a 15-1 run by Notre Dame. Citron back the other way. Well defended and taken back by the Hurricanes. It's been tough to win here for Miami over the years. Just 2 wins all time in 13 meetings. Today the 14th here at Purcell Pavilion between the programs, and the foul goes against Notre Dame.
Well, you've got to think, if teams are watching film on this game, everybody who plays Miami should come out in the zone, because what Notre Dame has been able to do in limiting the attack by Miami, limiting the post play. Oldaker has 2 points. Lattimore, no points in this game, but with significant playing time. And they have just suffocated the paint.
It's Dwyer in the paint and scoring.
On cue. Dwyer gets in.
Oldaker just 14 minutes of action in this game as we play in the 4th quarter. Hidalgo, Day Wilson. Up ahead, the speedy Dwyer. She's up to 7 points in the game. Shade Dwyer, the junior from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Hidalgo was trying to fight through to the rim and push Day Wilson. Second on Hidalgo.
Yeah, pushed her into the screen because she saw the backdoor opportunity. I know exactly what she was thinking. And here comes the screen by Bransford. Pushed her up so she could cut back, and the official was in the right spot to see it. Wrong spot for Hidalgo.
Turnovers an issue this afternoon for Miami.
Miami's got to find that high post or short corner area to get a pressure release against the zone. Patrick goes in hard with the contact. That's a good looking play. High post area. Now that creates a one-on-one for Patrick to get to the lane. Good pass. And now that's one-on-one with Nat Marshall, and it's a hard shot to defend.
Third on Marshall. Patrick able to convert on the three-point play. And Miami, all of a sudden, Kelly, that's a 9-0 run. Bransford triple teamed. Shot clock is down to 5 for Hidalgo. Trying to work off of the Marshall screen. Foul was called. 1.4 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, those are hard things to watch as a coach. Oldacre in the right spot. Her fourth foul. Picks it up. Got her with the body, but a clean block. Notre Dame at that point was just trying to find any daylight as the clock was winding down, nothing working offensively. That was a really good stand until that foul by Miami.
20 points now for Hidalgo after the free throw. 13th time this season in 15 games, 20 points or more. Make it 21 for Hidalgo. Clemson and Virginia Tech. That'll be our matchup in ACC women's basketball next Sunday on the CW. The men's doubleheader on Saturday, CW courtside Saturday. Got you covered on the weekends. Oldacre on the weak side, fighting for that ball. Stedman missed on the initial shot attempt.
I didn't see what happened between the two of them, but by the time the ball bounced on the rim, those two were already falling to the floor.
So they gave it to Westbeld as Oldacre will come out for Katie Meyer. Third foul on Westbeld. Off of the inbounds play. Spearman for Miami.
Yeah, coaches love that. Come in fresh out from the bench and immediately attack.
That's over and back.
And that's exactly what Miami wants. A quick score, then they turn Notre Dame over. Now they have an opportunity to score and try to continue to cut into this lead. They got to work fast though. Time not on their side right now.
Canes trailed by 18 after the third quarter. Trying to continue to cut into this lead for the Irish. Day Wilson. Stedman. Tried the other side unsuccessfully. Hidalgo. To her left and DeWolf. Did not get the bounce.
Oh, and I thought Day Wilson got away with the travel there. But even still, Spearman.
Day Wilson, she wanted that ball right back and she got blocked by Marshall. Watson rather, on the block. And together, this unlikely duo makes the perfect pair. The CW's brand new show, Wild Cards, premieres this Wednesday, January 17th, 8, 7 Central, right here on the CW. Fans of all ages enjoying the afternoon of ACC women's basketball. Miami and Notre Dame, the 31st edition of the series. Notre Dame has dominated here. Purcell Pavilion. They're 11-2 at home against Miami, and Dwyer, Oldacre, and Day Wilson, who just picked up her fourth, in trouble for Miami.
And now that full court pressure looks a little more active, and Maddie Westbeld with an open lane, can't get it to fall.
Watson was able to grab it. 15 offensive rebounds in the game for the Irish. led by as many as 23 in this game. There's Williams with the contact. Third on Williams.
Notre Dame has done a better job. Had 5 turnovers at halftime, many turnovers to start that third quarter. They've done a better job. Sitting at 13 right now. 24 turnovers for the Miami Hurricanes. By the way, almost half of Notre Dame's points have come off of Miami's turnovers. 29 of the 60 points. That will be an area of a lot of film watching, I imagine, in the practices and film sessions to come.
Westbeld trying to maintain her footing, and she traveled, couldn't do it. So Miami gets the ball back, and right now, Kelly, they're in the middle of an 11-2 run, trailing by 14, just over 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, and that time factor is going to play in here. If this were the third quarter or the beginning of the fourth, things could look a little bit different, but right now you can tell Notre Dame is trying to take as much time as they can on the offensive end. But that high post pass, that's where Miami wants to get it. Things start happening when you can penetrate that zone with a pass or a dribble.
Miami just 2 of 18 on 3-pointers and now 2 of 19. Long rebound, and that is off of Hidalgo. Williams able to bounce that one off of Hidalgo.
It looked close to a foul as Hidalgo was keeping Williams on her back. Look at the way that Williams went after it. I was almost certain a foul was going to be called, but great hustle by Williams to maintain the possession.
Pay attention in the front row here at Purcell Pavilion.
I almost caught a pass, I thought, a moment ago. It was...
Stedman bounces ahead, and DeWolf thought about a pass, could not maintain the pivot foot by rule. And traveling violation.
I know what she's thinking. She wants to send it ahead, and then in that moment, she's thinking, no, we want to take time off the clock. Go ahead and pass it. Let Hidalgo do her thing.
Trying to bounce it low, and it's lost. 26 turnovers is a season high. DeWolf, Hidalgo, what an assist.
Well, that's the assist she wanted earlier, just didn't go after it. I like that she did it this time. Anna DeWolf is such a seasoned player, and you see that in her game. She knows how to score clearly. She's picked up a couple steals on the defensive end. So good as Patrick gets that 3 to fall.
So for Miami, just their third made 3 on 20 attempts as Patrick hits the 3. Miami is not a poor 3-point shooting team. 35%, 4th best in the ACC on the season, although they have struggled against Notre Dame today. Next week, next Saturday, courtside Saturday on the CW, Virginia Tech, NC State, North Carolina undefeated in conference play. Headed to Boston College in Chestnut Hill to take on the Eagles. Noon Eastern for Virginia Tech and NC State. 5-1 in their last 6 games. That only loss was to North Carolina, which is the highest ranked ACC team. North Carolina, Duke, and Clemson in the rankings, and they will take on Boston College. Connie Forum will be the site of our game. Second part of CW Courtside Saturday. Doubleheader coming up next week. Notre Dame has held the lead in this game for the vast majority of the time on the clock. Miami went on an 11-2 run here in the 4th quarter to make it interesting. Hidalgo's been the difference. I'm not the first person to say that this season. 23 points, 6 rebounds, a couple of 3-pointers. Has a couple of assists as well. Miami led 9-8. That was their last lead. They scored the first 5 points of the game.
I was waiting for you to say it, but 7 steals to go along with it.
And the 7 steals.
It's my favorite stat.
Thank you for the assist, Kelly.
I got you.
You got one
assist.
That's
one for me.
Hidalgo hustling and laying it in.
Why not add to it? And almost another steal as she got her hand on the inbound there. Never stops. Never takes a play off.
That's a strong move to the bucket, Spearman.
Miami needed more of that in this game. Spearman has had some good games this season, and she's so long and athletic. And I think she's still trying to find her place on this team and look for those opportunities where she can score. Now in this game, she's been able to come up with a couple big ones in the second half.
Yeah, Spearman has a couple of double-doubles this season. Looks like Day Wilson has picked up her 5th personal foul, so disqualification for her on the 5th personal. Does not want to go to that bench for sure. I think she's saying, I only got 4. That is a reluctant walk to the bench for Day Wilson, the Duke transfer in this Miami program.
Former ACC Rookie of the Year when she was at Duke. I'll tell you what, I understand. I would want to play for Katie Meyer too. She is one of my favorite coaches in this league. Obviously, across the way is, you know, that'd be my ultimate favorite. Also, one of my besties. But Katie Meyer, I just want to hang out with her. You know, I want the 3 of us to go for lunch after the game. She is just so much fun. Just every time you're with her.
We could bring plenty of people, get in that van and drive all the way back to Wheaton, Illinois.
We got the family with us.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not the result that she and the family members were looking for today.
By the way, on that note, I got to just tell this last story. And I was talking to her wife, Hunter, and she was saying that Katie's favorite story about driving with her family, there she is when she was 3 years old and her team was at, or her team, essentially, her family was at church, and they all got in that big, van, and they left without Katie. She's 3 years old at church. Nobody notices.
They made a movie about this.
Right, yeah, nobody notices until everyone gets home and they're all dressing for their little sporting events, and they get a call from the nuns, and they say, hey, will we have a Catherine here? And and Phyllis says, no, there's no Catherine. And then she hears Katie in the voice, Mom, it's me. So they go pile everyone back in the van and get to church. And they said where they had to go in and just overwhelmingly say how much they loved her and how they would never leave her. And the story is that she got all the bowls of cereal that she wanted afterward. That was her reward for being left. But, it happens.
She deserved it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The baby of the family, sometimes you're forgotten. And nobody's forgetting her now, I'll tell you that.
Done very, very well. Programmed to the regional final a season ago against eventual champ LSU. Late in the shot clock for the Irish. It'll bounce out of bounds and be Miami basketball. And, you see right there, Coach Meyer, her team trailing with 1:40 to go, but high level of encouragement for her players. It's a long road to Greensboro. It's only mid-January. Plenty of basketball to play. In fact, Thursday, how about the challenge for Miami on Thursday when they will host NC State?
And Miami had a game against Louisville, could have come up with that win at home against, obviously, ranked Louisville, and ended up losing that one. But this is a team, they've not come out the way I expected, probably the way that most would expect. We thought a little more control on the offensive end, maybe turn Notre Dame over a little bit more, but they'll get back.
So they are in the midst of, this is the second game against 4 straight ranked opponents. Virginia Tech on Thursday, today against the Irish, NC State, North Carolina, then Duke, Wake, and Florida State also ranked. And those last 2 in early February on the road. That Louisville game you're talking about, Kelly, that was December 31st at home against then number 19 Louisville. 77-72 final. That game featured 12 ties and 17 lead changes, and just coming out on the short end for Miami in that game. They will drop to 1-4 in conference play. And now the Irish, with what appears to be a victory today in conference action, will go to 3-2. Dwyer with an athletic move to the rim.
Well, and that's what it's like to play in the ACC. This is what these players signed up for. They knew that game in and game out in the ACC conference, they are going to play tough opponents, and they're going to be asked to bring their very best.
Final 50 seconds of our fourth quarter. Hidalgo pumping up a 3. Watson was fighting inside with Spearman. Looks like they're going to get Watson or Westbelt. So shots for Miami and Spearman. Miami was 3-3 prior to this game this afternoon. ACC losses to Louisville at home, which we mentioned. Losses on the road at Boston College, and then Thursday at Virginia Tech. Their last win is going to be last Sunday, January 7th against Wake, 77-47 at home for Miami. That's the game you mentioned where they had the 13 blocks to set a school record. All right, let's take a look at our player of the game, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit Progressive.com.
Yeah, I was going to guess it, but my guess would have been Hannah, right? That's the name we've been saying most of the day. Hannah Hidalgo, 25 points, 7 boards, 7 steals, and we're still, she's got 35 seconds to add to that. She may, but what a performance, what a player, and what she has been able to do to help this Notre Dame team with the injury to Olivia Miles, stepping in as a freshman, taking over not just the point guard position, but the leadership on the floor. She's directing her team. They're looking to her to make decisions, and she has not disappointed.
A couple of road games coming up for the Irish. Thursday at Virginia, and then next Sunday at Wake Forest for the second meeting with the Deeks. And then their next home game, January 25th, and that's against Syracuse. They might be looking forward to that one after losing at the Dome December 31st, 86-81. And then Connecticut on the road.
Connecticut also a team that has been riddled with injury.
So Dwyer may have picked up her 5th. So Kelly, if you're Notre Dame, it wasn't an outstanding shooting game, just 35% as a team, and they started the afternoon as the top shooting team of the conference at 48%, but the turnovers that they created, and not only that, but turning those mishaps and miscues by Miami into points at the other end.
Yeah, and that was obviously the difference in the game. They have forced 26 turnovers and scored 31 points off of them, and that's what when you go back and watch film, that's the number one thing. It's not going to be the rebounding. It's not going to be, Notre Dame was crushing Miami in the offensive glass earlier in the half. That will not be the story. It will be Notre Dame's defense forcing Miami into turnovers.
Fourth made 3 of the game for Miami. They're right about 40% shooting in this game. Final 20 seconds. The Irish will improve to 12-3. Miami drops to 11-5. Notre Dame 3-2 in conference play. Miami now 1-4 in the conference. Wait a minute, 1.7 remaining.
Hannah thought less time was on the clock and was throwing the ball to the official, but it went out of bounds.
I mean, it's about the only thing she's done wrong all day. Just delaying the inevitable.
Good point. We knew it was going to be a battle. Miami always plays Notre Dame hard. The defense we thought would come from the Miami side, in fact, came